Okay, we should be good now.
Yeah, okay. People online hear me? Great, thank you. All right, hello all, I'm Brad Sherburne, the Chair of Manhattan Community Board 5. We will begin our board meeting tonight with our public hearing, so I will hand it over to our first Vice Chair, Yaron Noti Victor.
Good evening. This is the public hearing of Manhattan Community Board 5. I'm Yaron Noti Victor, and I'll be your chair for the public hearing. During this public hearing, members of the public are invited to speak for 2 minutes on subjects set forth in the agenda or on any topic that relates to the affairs of the community district. If you would like to address the board before it votes on any matter tonight, now is your opportunity to do so. Although there will be a public session during the full board meeting later, that public session will be at the end of the meeting after all the votes have taken place. So if you want to any matter board votes tonight, now is your time to do so. If you'd like to speak during this public hearing or in person, please fill out a speaker form. If you are joining online, please use the raise hand feature now. If you want to speak, when you are recognized, you will be able to unmute yourself. And now we'll begin the public hearing with our first person, Lisa Wager. There she is.
Hi, sorry, now you can go first. Hello, I'm Lisa Wager, Director of Government Community Relations at the Fashion Institute of Technology, the SUNY School on West 27th, between 7th and 8th. I'm here with an FIT update. Happy New Year. There's a lot happening at FIT this month. Next week, our new president, Jason Schuchbach, officially assumes his role at the head of the college. Spring semester begins on January 26th, and I've got 2 exhibitions on campus to tell you about. Both, of course, are free and open to the public. On Friday, January 17th, the NYC Animation and Game Design Showcase is opening in the Art and Design Gallery on 7th Avenue and 27th Street. That's the glass box on the corner. It'll be up for a month. Some of the most well-known animation and game design has been created right here in the New York City area. And did you know that FIT has the first New York City Animation and Game Design bachelor's degree program, and we've been graduating students in this since 2002. That's before NYU and Parsons programs, and of course, public. It's a small and intense major with 20 students a year, and they're working now on The Tonight Show on CNBC, doing on-air graphics, and at Titmouse, the largest animation studio in NYC, located in the district on West 30th Street. Of course, some of them have defected to California, where they're embedded at DreamWorks, but there's nothing I can do about that. The New York City Animation and Game Design Showcase will focus on the work that FIT students, alumni, and faculty have created at FIT and in the local industry, bringing together an exhibition of concept art, character design, animation, and yes, playable games. So please stop by and have some fun. In celebration of Black History Month, Africa's Fashion Heritage, 8 African countries, will open on February 2nd in the lobby of the museum at FIT. This virtual 3D fashion exhibition presents 28 looks featuring traditional African ensembles from prestigious museum collections, alongside contemporary reinterpretations from the museum at FIT collections, created by legendary fashion designers from 8 African countries: Cote d'Ivoire, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, Ghana, Kenya, Mali, Nigeria, and South Africa. Each look is interwoven with the stories of cultural trailblazers whose lives and legacies have inspired global audiences, and together, these works honor the richness, innovation, and enduring influence of African fashion. Thanks very much.
Thank you. And now we'll go to Charles Nye.
Hello, I'm a constituent of the district and I'm here to speak about the transportation committee about the protected bike lanes. You know, not everyone in the city rides bikes. In fact, you know, some people don't, some people can't afford to ride a bike. Some people might choose not to ride a bike and some people might not be able to ride a bike due to disability. So I'm concerned that when it comes to pedestrian safety, that unfortunately I feel that the needs of safety for pedestrians are not being met. And I'm very concerned about that. There are cyclists who do unfortunately go against the crosswalk light. They weave around pedestrians on the sidewalk. Just today, I was with my home health aide, and we had the light, and an Amazon cyclist rode right through the light, very close to us, which was dangerous. And my home health aide even said, you know, it'd be so great if they could have a number plate or something, a license plate, so that people can report cyclists who go against the lights and everything. So I'm just hoping that we can think outside the box and also think about the needs of pedestrians. And it does concern me because just last year at the Transportation Committee, when the Fifth Avenue Association people came to speak about widening sidewalks, they never mentioned anything about bike lanes, but mentioned that the improvements would help pedestrian safety and how they had studies about pedestrian safety. But unfortunately, members brought up the fact that there was no mention of a bike lane along Fifth Avenue, which does confuse me because sometimes when I'm in front of committees, some items are said to be, you know, have to be stuck in scope, and then other times it feels like, you know, you guys can go outside of scope. So it makes me wonder, you know, are we sticking to scope or are we not sticking to scope? So I do really hope that there could be more emphasis also on pedestrian safety. And when it comes to just moving on to the Parks Committee, I'm hoping that with the matrix that the Parks Committee uses for the different installations, the activations, I'm wondering if they could please include accessibility because it does get overlooked. And there's a lot of people with disabilities who would like to go to events and activations in the city, and it's really important to really consider that, especially since, you know, parks are open to everyone, every person in the city, no matter what ability. So I really hope that the committee can include in their matrix a section on whether the activations are accessible or not, and to try to, you know, help the speakers to think about, the presenters who are presenting these activations to think about accessibility. And when that happens, then people think more about it. And that's why I think it's really important for, especially for a community board, to really, you know, help advocate for accessibility, because unfortunately, people with accessibility do get overlooked a lot. So thank you, and I thank you for your time, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all I have for people in the room. So. Okay. Let's go online and start with Jane Rossman. You should be able to unmute yourself and speak.
Hi, yes, thank you. Hi, my name is Jane Rossman. I work for the Flatiron Nomad Partnership. We have a very exciting art installation that is going up over the course of this upcoming week. It'll be 11 sculptures throughout the district, but our really exciting kind of unveiling ceremony will be happening next Thursday, the 15th. So we really want to invite members of the community to come 4:30 p.m. There will be speakers, there'll be a small performance. We'll be giving out like little free giveaways, and then we really encourage people after the ceremony to walk around the neighborhood and see the other sculptures. So yeah, just wanted to give that update and really encourage people to see this new exciting public art piece for our Winter Glow series.
Great, thank you. Anyone else online? Please raise your hand. Robert, yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to let everyone know that on February 5th, Government Community College is hosting a Black History Month event with Attorney General Letitia James, former City Council Speaker Adrian Adams, and Nye Whitaker Harris for New York will be moderating the event. It's going to be at CUNY at the Amazon on 39th Street, and I've submitted a flyer in the chat. Perhaps if someone could contact me, I can leave my information if you'd like to attend.
Great, thank you. Seeing no other speakers, I'm going to hand it back to Brad.
Good, thank you. All right, I will now call to order the full board meeting of Manhattan Community Board 5. I am Brad Sherburne, Chairman. We will start our full board meeting by hearing from the elected officials that are in attendance and wish to address the board. The elected officials will be followed by representatives of other elected to make report to the board 2 minutes each. The board then enters into its business session, which tonight consists of approval of the minutes, district manager's report, chair's report, committee reports, and resolutions with a question and comment period, which we will then follow with new business. Lastly, we will then conduct a public session for those who would like to address the board on any item that was not covered during the meeting or that they did not speak to the board about during the public hearing, followed by adjournment. I will ask that all speakers to speak slowly and clearly. I will start this evening's meeting by calling on elected officials. And so I will start with Councilmember Maloney. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for that introduction. I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight and want to start by thanking you all for your work. It is what keeps our city running, the civic engagement of community boards like Community Board 5. So thank you for being here tonight and working for our city week over week. My name is Virginia Maloney, and I am the new city council member for District 4, representing the east side of Manhattan. It's 93rd Street all the way down to 14th Street, with a portion that is covered by CV5. And I am first and foremost a New Yorker. I'm a lifelong Manhattanite and care deeply about the future of our city. And the neighborhoods like these right here in CV5 are what make the borough and the city such an amazing place to live and work. I want to start off by recognizing my predecessor, Keith Powers, who has represented this district for 8 years. He has been consistent in delivering real and long-term results for tenant protections, affordability advocacy, cutting through agency gridlock when issues are stalled. Many of you have worked with him directly, and that kind of follow through really matters and is something I plan to carry forward. I'm grateful to call him a friend and a confidant, and I am glad that he'll get a chance to continue representing the city in Albany, which will be great. We just had our stated meeting on Wednesday, and I was sitting in the desk I've been assigned, which is where Keith sat for the past 4 years. And he came up to me and was like, "What are you doing in my seat? Get out." So we have a partnership that will continue into the next term. A bit about me. I mentioned I'm a lifelong New Yorker. I have a background serving our city. I worked in economic development for NYC EDC under 2 administrations, the Bloomberg administration into de Blasio. I worked in federal consulting, serving public-private partnerships and federal agencies. And most recently, I have a background in tech, where I worked in product management at Meta, building accessibility products. And I plan to carry forward my commitment to innovation, impact, and results in the council. One of my campaign focuses was on my A's. So I talked about affordability, accessibility, and an accountable government. Affordability is going to be a central theme in this next administration as we focus on housing, childcare, and affordable education, and healthcare as well. So I plan to carry forward that fight. Accessibility, I was glad to hear that mentioned in the earlier comments, is such a critical part of what makes our city open. And accountable government that actually delivers for its constituency is transparent and available. Just yesterday was my first stated meeting where I've already done my swearing in, and my first vote was to have Speaker Julie Menon join or officially become the Speaker of the Council. She's my friend and my neighbor, and I'm very proud to have supported her speakership. And I look forward to working with all of you on some of the priorities I mentioned, but also your priorities and what is important to the members of this community board. I want to also introduce my staff who's here with me today, especially since this is our first community board meeting. So come on up. We're on day 8 at the job. So in the future, we'll have more legislative updates. We've only done the one vote on the speaker, but in the future, you'll be hearing, if not from me, from members of my team. So we can just run down the line. Yeah.
I'm Anna Barrett.
Into the microphone, please, just for people online.
Sorry about that, everyone. My name's Anna Barrett. I'm Virginia's Communications Director and really looking forward to working with this whole board. Hi, everyone. I'm Isabella Soldano. I am the constituent liaison with Virginia. Looking forward to working with everyone.
Hello, my name is Breeze Payer, and I will be the Senior Advisor for Community Affairs to Councilmember Maloney. And I have previously represented other elected officials before this board, including Congress members Nadler and Maloney and Assemblymember Dick Gottfried. So it's great to be back. Thank you.
These are just 3 of our team. Our chief of staff is Shelby Garner, and we're very excited about our new letterhead. So we've printed our contact information on the way out. You'll be able to pick up a one-pager on how to get in touch with us. Some final notes of logistics. Our office is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. We're in Councilmember Keith Powers's old space. So it's 211 East 43rd Street between 3rd and 2nd Avenue, suite number 1205. So you know where to find us. Our email is district4@council.nyc.gov. And our telephone number is listed on the flyer, but 212-818-0580. So please get in touch with us if there are any issues. This is meant just to be an introduction. Neighborhoods work best when residents are treated as true partners. And you've had 2 council members that have really done that. Many council members who've done that, but both Powers, Grodnick, and the ones before. And I want to be clear that my commitment to transparency, communication, and showing up, especially when there are hard conversations, will continue. And as your new council member, I'm here to listen, to learn, and to begin a working relationship rooted in respect and follow through. So thank you for the time.
Thank you very much. Okay, I don't believe we have any other elected officials in the room, so we will move to elected representatives. Please raise your hands online, but we will start in the room with Mackie Bentley from Representative Nadler's office.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you all had a great new year. So a few updates. Congressman Nadler recently condemned President Trump's actions in Venezuela as they are completely illegal and unconstitutional. Congress has not authorized the president's conduct war in Venezuela, nor has it authorized a large-scale strike, as President Trump has described it. This is a grave abuse of power that has put American troops in harm's way and threatens a water conflict in the region, and is not to be taken lightly, nor without the consent of the American people, as to be expressed by the representatives in Congress. He has urged Speaker Johnson to bring this matter to vote before Congress as soon as possible. And with that, if you know anyone who has been stranded in another country due to airspace closures from this military operation, please encourage them to contact our office and also enroll in the STEP program through the State Department to receive updates. In other news, in the wake of the horrific anti-Semitic attack at the Hanukkah celebration in Sydney last month, Congressman Nadler, along with Rep. DeLauro, Blank Frost, introduced the Anti-Semitism Response and Prevention Act. This bill provides a comprehensive and principled framework to stem the tide of rising anti-Semitism in America, while simultaneously upholding and celebrating progressive values without compromise or vilification. This effort shows that we can fight anti-Semitism with bold innovation strategies that work without blindly aligning with the current Israel government and necessarily stifling legitimate free speech and political criticism. With that, I'll resign the rest of my time, and thank you so much, and hope you have a great evening.
Thank you very much. Okay, next up, we have Julie Rowland, Assemblymember Boris' office.
Hi, good evening. Happy New Year. I am Julie Rowland from Assemblymember Alex Boris's office, and it's been an honor that today Mike came up to me and recognized me and said, "Hey, I know you from somewhere. It's here." But it's nice. I've been here since October, starting to put some names to faces. So we've got a couple of great updates. One is a huge legislative win. Right before the end of the year, the governor passed the RAISE Act, which Assemblymember Alex Boris co-authored. This is now the most progressive AI regulation in the entire country. This is huge. So very exciting news out of our office. And then we have a lot of upcoming district events. On January 22nd, we're having a State of the District. The program will be at 6:30, doors are at 5. That's going to be at the CUNY Graduate Center. Please come out. You can RSVP at bit.ly/Boris26, but also you can get in touch with me. We also have NILAG free legal services on January 26th. If you or anyone you know could use some free legal services, we're going to have that available. So please call our office to schedule an appointment. And we also are going to have NILAG services at least once a month now through at least June. So if January 26th doesn't work for you, call our office. We'll let you know the upcoming dates and we'll find a time that works for you. Also on February 3rd, we have an upcoming MTA webinar to talk about Omni and changes there and anything else that you can expect. It'll be 11 a.m. on February 3rd. So for any of those, if you have questions, you can email me at julie@alexboris.nyc. And also I just restocked on business cards, so come say hi and I'll happily give you one. Thank you so much.
All right, I believe that is all. Oh, okay. Good timing. So we have our borough president, our new borough president with us. Please welcome.
Good to see everyone. Wow, this is a really nice turnout. Here?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Good evening. It's so great to see everyone. Hello, friends, new and old. Brad Hoylman-Siegel. I'm your 28th Manhattan Borough President and very, very honored to be here tonight. Just wanted to introduce myself to those of you who may not have met me on the campaign trail or when I used to represent Community Board 5 when I was the state senator for part of this neighborhood for the better part of like 8 years. And then I got redistricted. My old district ran from Christopher Street to West 103rd, exclusively on the west side. We used to say from the gay bars to Zay bars, but can't say that anymore. I have to figure out something that rhymes with Battery Park City, you know, that's sort of something to encompass the whole village. But you know, it's really thrilling to be in this office at this time with a new city administration. I think we all kind of share that collective optimism. I hope that, you know, this is, thank you. This is a moment to seize when it comes to a lot of issues that we as local community members, you know, want to advance, whether it's housing, affordable housing, whether it's quality of life, whether it's issues like homelessness and mental health and safe subways, making certain our kids are looked after in our public schools, which is a personal piece of mine, and understanding, how we can work as a community. I'll tell you my operating theory of community boards is that good planning comes through the community boards, that the best type of planning is through the advice and consent of community boards and other local stakeholders, whether it's block associations or other groups that have an interest in how our city looks and feels and provides for the future and provides for people who are currently in our district. And so I just want to commit to that type of convening, which is part of, I think, my responsibility as your borough president, in addition to providing the community boards the resources they need to do their job. I know that's so important that sometimes community boards feel like they don't get the support from city government. Well, I want to make sure that you feel that way in my city administration. To the end of convening, I'm going to have an inaugural ceremony, but what really is going to be the point of this event is something we're calling a borough convention. We're going to bring together, we hope, hundreds of community members across the borough to discuss and to brainstorm about both problems and solutions. We're going to have a professional facilitator. It's going to be on Sunday, February 22nd at noon. It's going to be at Alice Tully Hall at Lincoln Center at 66 and Broadway. So I hope you can take time to attend. We'll make sure you get all the information in advance. And when it comes to these issues, I've already seen the new city administration taking steps. They've reached out to me numerous times. I went to the inauguration of the new FD&Y commissioner, which was very inspiring. Of course, I went to the mayor's inauguration, and but I'll tell you that his team has already been in touch with our office, as I'm sure they have with many other elected officials throughout Manhattan and all the boroughs. But there's obviously a lot of work to do. This is just the beginning, but I hope you'll put it on your calendar for February 22nd, and I hope to be here in person as much as I possibly can. I think it's really important that you engage with my team, a number of who are here. Raka is here, and I think many of you know her. Yeah, round of applause. Thank you. Ben Flatt from my team is here. And then we have a new director of community affairs, Mary Ali. She might be dropping by tonight. She's got a lot of, yeah. Well, again, that's just the kind of skeleton crew that we have in place right at the moment. But I hope to be engaged and active and sincerely committed to the project that we are all part of, which is to make the lives of Manhattanites better for us and future generations. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm happy to take questions if you have any. Otherwise, I'll be on my way. Mr. Chair.
Does anyone have any questions? All right, well, thank you very much.
That's an easy first meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Good to see everyone.
All right, we will go back online, starting with Evelyn Collado from the City Controller's Office.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Happy New Year, everyone. I just wanted to reintroduce myself briefly. I am still your contact at the New York City Comptroller's Office, now under the administration of the Honorable Mark Levine. So I continue to have the same contact information, and so feel free to send me an email if need be. I'm at ECOLLAD@comptroller.nyc.gov. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you. Okay, next up we have Ben Lowenstein, Tony Simone's office.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Apologies I cannot be there in person. But just wanted to first quickly recap the legislation that the Assembly member passed and that was signed into law last year. He passed the Support Act with now Manhattan Borough President Brad Hoylman-Siegel. This mandates mental health care for those found unfit to stand trial on misdemeanor charges, a right of publicity law, which protects deceased people's voices or likeness in expressive audiovisual works by requiring prior consent to use it from the deceased person's heirs. A major tax cut for Penn South that saves them $2.3 million. Legislation that allows for early and absentee ballot drop boxes for people to use so they can safely and securely vote. And legislation that supports animal shelters by including an option to donate on pet adoption forms. The Assembly member would like to express his sorrow and anger regarding the murder of Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis yesterday by a masked ICE agent. He's very grateful for all the elected officials, including Council member Virginia Maloney, who I'm not sure if she's still in the room, but who joined him today outside of 26 Federal Plaza to denounce this horrible act and support legislation from the Assembly member, the MELT Act, and the Raider Act, the first one, which would ban law enforcement, including ICE, from wearing masks, and the Raider Act, which creates a database of immigration enforcement that takes place in New York, as well as the New York for All Act, which the Assembly member supports, which cuts off New York from working, and helping federal immigration enforcement here in New York. So a lot of work to be done there. And we got a big fight ahead of us, but we appreciate our allies with this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next up we have Alex Marinides from Senator Krueger's office.
Hey everyone, Happy New Year. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Great. Good evening, everyone. And again, Happy New Year. I'm Alex Marinides from the Office of State Representative Krueger. And just my update is very quick. On Wednesday, we began the 2026 legislative session. Senator Krueger is busy at work preparing for budget hearings in her role as the chair of the Senate Finance Committee. That's going to be taking up most of her time over the next few months, especially after the governor releases her executive budget, which should be in the next few weeks. She's anticipating a difficult year for the budget, as I mentioned last time, given the dramatic federal cuts, and wants to be very clear that although the state will do what it can to mitigate the damage caused by the federal government, the state will likely be unable to fill the funding gap completely. That being said, she does look forward to working with her colleagues in the legislature and the executive to push for a state budget that tackles these issues head on in a very constructive way. I mentioned 3 bills last month that were awaiting the governor's signature. Of those 3 bills, 2 were vetoed while 1 was signed into law. The 2 bills that were vetoed were S 3437, which would have prohibited the establishment of for-profit hospices, and S 929, the New York Health Information Privacy Act, which would have protected New Yorkers from having their private health information sold to third parties by apps, social media platforms, and other technologies not subject to federal HIPAA rules. Senator Krueger is very disappointed by the governor's vetoes, and we are working on how to ensure these policies are not vetoed again. Governor Hochul did sign Senator Krueger's bill S 8417, which, by ending the so-called 100-foot rule practice of forcing ratepayers to subsidize gas hookups for new customers, gave New Yorkers a $600 million Christmas present. This is a massive win for New York's gas customers and for clean air and a livable future. So thank you as always for letting me speak. I'm at time, but please feel free to reach out to me at marinidi@nysenate.gov or by calling our office at 212-490-9535. All right, thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Botcher is having some issue with her audio, so her report is in the chat. And I see that, thank you. I see that Councilmember Epstein has joined us. You can go to the front for us, please. Thank you. Here's the front.
It's the first time in this case.
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. I like this space. It's nice and open. I like it. I like it. For folks who don't know me, my name is Harvey Epstein. I used to be an assembly member up until a month ago. But now I'm your council member representing a good portion of your district. I want to thank you all for letting me get a minute to speak. I want to introduce Julia from my team, who will be our Community Board 5 representative. Julia, wave your hand, so, you know, I've appeared before you many times before. I just, you know, we're doing a lot, and the council, as people know, we just got started, and lucky to have my new colleague, Virginia Maloney here. So Virginia, welcome. It's your first meeting? Yeah. Congratulations, welcome. She's gonna be a great ally here. You got to know this board's gonna be represented very well with us in city council. And so we have a lot of events coming up. You know, this neighborhood, we're experiencing a lot of issues like we are across the city. One thing we've been talking a lot about has been the affordability crisis. That's something that the mayor ran on. It's something that we've been, you know, talked about a lot. One big issue for affordability is kind of Con Ed rates. People know that the Public Service Commission is reviewing a potential double-digit Con Ed rate increase. And so we are having a rally Monday at 11 o'clock in front of Con Ed to tell the Public Service Commission that you're doing 11 or 13% rate increases when people are struggling every day to pay their bills is really a problem. And we are fortunate to have lots of elected officials, including Councilmember Maloney, joining us. So we'd love to be there. It's in our newsletter. We have an e-waste event. You know that I do a lot of e-waste events. So we're doing one at Union Square this weekend with the Lower East Side Ecology Center. I know people are shredding, so we're gonna wait till it's a little warmer. We'll start doing some of those shredding events, but that is coming. We had a great swearing in for the mayor. I don't know how many of you all were frigid outside with me as we watched him, the public advocate and the control get sworn in, but really interesting time for New York and a really a good new day for New York. Earlier this week, we had the governor and the mayor in the neighborhood, just down the block, talking about the 1 year congestion pricing and kind of the data. When I voted on that in 2019, there was a lot of opposition. That has really changed across the city and a lot more public support, and the data shows a lot less traffic, a lot better air quality. We're outperforming our revenue goals and making public transportation better. So I think that the press conference, I think it was earlier this week, I think actually, really shows that data. So it's really important that we understand why we did it and kind of make sure that people understand why it's valuable. And to advance public transportation, that's a really critical thing. Around the holidays, we were really fortunate to get lots of toy donations. We gave out over 2,500 toys to families in need. And that was really exciting to be able to go to, our schools and our public housing developments and our community center to give out, thousands of toys for people in our community. I was sworn in December because prior Councilmember Rivera had left early, so I was sworn in last year, but I was luckily sworn in again with a lot of my colleagues, especially in addition to Councilmember Maloney 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago? We got sworn in 2 weeks ago. Able to vote on a lot of bills at the end of session. Unfortunately, Mayor Adams on his last day in office vetoed 18 of those bills, and we'll have to decide in the next. We have basically till the end of the month to override a lot of those vetoes, and that's something I know Councilmember Maloney and I will be talking to our colleagues about. We had our first stated meeting of the year yesterday, and we unanimously elected our new speaker, Councilmember Menon from Manhattan, who represents a district just north of us. And so Councilmember Menon has, got unanimous support of the city council, and he's really going to be a great leader focusing on the issues that we care about every single day. I was proud to speak on her behalf along with my colleagues. In our newsletter, we just have few emails for our contact for our staff. If you have any questions, please do reach out to them. They're all there in the newsletter, and I look forward to continuing to work with you. And if there's a moment and there's a question, I'm happy to defer to the chair, but if there's a question, I'm happy to get it available.
Any questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, enjoy everyone. Thank you.
Okay, we will go back online to Peyton Schulteis from Senator Gonzalez's office.
Hi, good evening. Hope everyone had a happy holidays and is having a happy new year. Just a few updates from Senator Gonzalez's office. First, next week on Thursday, July 15th, Senator Gonzalez is holding a hearing on the use of AI in high-risk settings in the public sector. The senator has a bill, the New York AI Act, which addresses concerns about transparency, accuracy, and risks of discrimination in these use cases. The hearing will be an exciting opportunity to learn more about these issues from stakeholders and experts. If anyone here is interested in learning more, the hearing will be live streamed to the public on the Senate's website. Next, last month, Senator Gonzalez released her Manhattan Community Safety Plan. The plan covers a number of areas that affect community safety, including street safety, housing, and behavioral health. You can find the full plan on the Senator's website, and I'll also drop a link in the Zoom chat. Next, we'll be hosting our Manhattan mobile office hours at the Kips Bay Library this month on Tuesday, January 13th from 2 to 4 p.m. Please feel free to stop by if you have any questions or need assistance. Lastly, following last month's Election Cybersecurity Summit, Senator Gonzalez introduced S8615, the Elections Security Navigators Act. This legislation would establish a program within the State Board of Elections to provide assistance to local boards of elections in mitigating cybersecurity threats, improving physical and operational preparedness, and enhancing public confidence in the integrity of elections. That's all I have for you tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, I believe we have just been joined by Councilmember Brewer behind me somewhere. There you are. All right, please come to the front.
Thank you very much. This is not my first time here, so I'm always glad to see Board 5. A couple of things. When the Switzerland disaster took place, and you may know better than I was worried that in New York City, the ceilings and the curtains in the nightclubs may not be fire retardant. So we did write a letter to the agency stating, hopefully we do not walk around with sprinklers, with sparklers, in a nightclub. They are illegal. Without naming names, people did call around, and on New Year's evening, there were lots of nightclubs that had sparklers. And so they did tell the nightclubs that's illegal, you shouldn't be doing that. But I know you have a lot of such enterprises in Board 5, and I hope you will also check to make sure that they're not doing that. That is really frightening. Again, I don't know how many of ours have the appropriate fire retardant, but it was a very frightening fire in Switzerland. The new chancellor of the Department of Education is from Community School District 3. He's a good friend, and I'm very excited about his leadership. So if you have any questions about education, I can answer them. We are having on March 23rd at John Jay College, we're going to have a town hall meeting. Last time we did it with all the different agencies, and we hope to do the same. Any questions, we can be in touch. On the 25th of this month at the Manhattan JCC at 76 in Amsterdam, not in your district, but you should know last year we had a book fair for children. We had 6,000 books, and we plan to do the same this year. And I think what's great about it is not only do parents and students, but also teachers come and really fill up bags and bags of books. It's really very exciting. You probably know that the expense and capital allocations for fiscal year 27 are now open. Cynthia Hornig in our office is incredibly expert, but those are the places that you file for money. Just something on graffiti. I'm very focused on quality of life issues. So I was taking the bus down Columbus, and I know you have some in this district, and I saw on every single block, from 96 to 72nd, SMOKE. I don't know what the hell it stands for, but it was outrageous. It was on the buildings, it was on the MTA bus shelters, it was on the garbage containers, and to the credit of the Department of Sanitation, I assume you know, I know that your district manager knows, they do take graffiti off buildings and they got rid of all of it. But today I was wandering around in the City Hall area and there's SMOKE everywhere. So I hope you don't have it, but if you do, somebody should be arrested for that kind of graffiti, in my opinion. In terms of legislation, just as this last year ended in the City Council, we have 4 bills that passed on December 18th. One is working with, as part of the lien sale reform package, creates a land bank. And basically, if you have a building that is absolutely not able to be sold in any other way because they haven't paid anything, it's abandoned, this gives the ability to give that to the land bank, that building, and maybe be for affordable housing. Number 2, we did something on the Ward's Island. This is Gail's crazy idea, but if you know Ward's Island is connected to Randall's. It has on it the state hospital, it has some shelters, it has fire department training, and it has other, I think at least one the EP facility. It has lots of open land. I was here when Roosevelt Island was Welfare Island and Ed Logue made housing. So it's worth having a discussion. Could there in fact be housing on this island? And so that's what I'm hoping this study will show. We also did something, I think, for those who care about transparency. This bill says that the encrypted channels, you may know if anybody here is a reporter or a photographer, if you are in the business of getting press information and you go to a site now, you're likely not to have the information because it's encrypted. That is no longer the law. Your police department is going to have to uncrypt some of their channels, and those who have legitimate press passes will be able to get the information. So those are some of the bills that we passed as the year was ending. We also did something which was just, again, crazy Gale. SS United States is a wonderful ocean liner and it's supposed to be sunk off the coast of Florida as part of a planned artificial reef. We're trying to save it. I don't know if we're going to, but we're going to try. When I met with the mayor recently, it was interesting to me. He was very focused on quality of life issues, and maybe because he was meeting with Gail Brewer, knowing that that's what I'm interested in. But just so you know, helicopters was #1 on his list, and it's certainly high up on my list. So we're going to continue now. Maybe we have, don't forget, Bloomberg had a helicopter. That wasn't going to go very far. De Blasio made some changes up and down the river, not over the park. Adams wouldn't do anything. So maybe we got a chance because we need to close tourism and non-essentials from our 3 heliports, in my opinion. Police are fine, press is fine, but these non-essentials are making people crazy. I just got 6 or 7 over the weekend complaints, even in the winter, from people flying over, so it's really making them, noise is fantastic. So just so you know, we're working on helicopters and other issues, but that was interesting that he brought that up first, with me anyway. Just so you know, in terms of the council, January 15th will be the next meeting. Mostly it'll be the committee assignments and the reintroduction of bills. So you won't see much new bill information at that time. We're going to focus, we have lots of bill on city thefts, on noise, on pedicabs, and those apps that you know only too well. We're still focusing on them, trying to get them to be more responsible for the delivery people. I will say, just in terms of issues that the speaker is interested in, which fit into your interest, I'm sure, obviously childcare, procurement reform, something that I'm interested in, which is the cost of insurance, her interest in healthcare, particularly the cost, small business, outdoor dining, and worker protection. That just gives you a general idea. I know she's got many other ideas, but those are some of them. And then just finally, as you know, we have ongoing in our district office. We have somebody who comes in every week to help people with benefits. We have someone who comes every week to help with veterans. Somebody who comes every week to help with SCREE, and certainly on housing, which is actually tonight, how to get a lawyer, how to get housing help, and immigration. Finally, the Wellington Hotel. I know you've got quite a few Excel projects. I have a big one at ABC at 67th Street, also Excel. And so I look forward to working with you to make sure these projects fit the needs of the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we will go back online to the district attorney, Alex Garcia.
There we go. Hi everyone, Happy New Year's. Some quick short announcements regarding GVPI. Our office has released a request for proposal for this summer's 2026 Gun Violence Prevention Initiative. The Gun Violence Prevention Initiative seeks community-based organizations to provide meaningful summer opportunities for youth. Interested applicants can see the full RFP, and I'm going to put that in the chat right now. Oh, I think that's it, everyone. All right. Okay, and the RFP is open and competitive. Please note that Danny staff cannot respond to questions about the RFP. Next announcement. Alvin Bragg Jr. announced the sentencing of Jancy Santiago to 20 years in a state prison for raping a 27-year-old woman in her Midtown apartment back in May 2000. On September 30, 2025, Santiago was found guilty following a New York State Supreme Court bench trial for both charges against him, rape in the first degree and burglary in the first degree. After 25 years of evading accountability, Jancy Santiago was sentenced to a substantial prison term for raping a woman in her own home. He dodged investigators, and our office's prosecutors ensured that this cold case was closed and Santiago was convicted at trial. We'd like to thank the survivors and anyone for testifying with this horrific crime. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and then I see we have Marielle Ali from the Borough President's Office who want to stop by, say hi.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Just wanting to introduce myself, Marielle Ali. I am the new Director of Community Affairs here at the Manhattan Borough President's Office. Just a little bit about myself. I am a former member of CB12 for 5 years, so I know what it's like to be on a community board and have thoroughly enjoyed it and really look forward to working with all of you. Please note that Braha will continue to be your main point of contact, but I am also available, and I'll be sure to drop my contact details in the chat. Thank you again.
Thank you. All right, and then I believe we have an encore from Councilmember Maloney. Can you go to the front, just so people on? Yeah, absolutely.
All right. My only encore was to invite you all to my inauguration, which is on January 25th. It's a Sunday. It's going to be held at Hunter College and right on Lexington and 8th Street. And starts at 3 p.m. So I heard our borough president is inviting his inauguration, so I wanted to make sure you knew you were invited to mine as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. I believe that concludes the elected representatives. So now we will enter into the business section of the board, where, as I mentioned, only board members are allowed to speak. Board members attending virtually, please remember to have your videos on during the meeting. So we are now entering the business session, starting with a vote to accept the December minutes. May I have a motion? And a second? Okay. As a reminder to all members, we are conducting voting using the Google form sent to you by Milan. Please use this Google form to cast your vote. If you are in person and are having issues or need assistance, the board office is available to assist. Members attending virtually, please let us know in the Zoom chat if you are having issues. So we will now move to the district manager's report. Marisa, you're up.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maurice Mott. I'm a district manager for Community Board 5. Happy New Year. Welcome to our newly elected officials and their reps. We look forward to working closely with you going forward. I have 3 very quick items. First, just to assure you that the office is tracking any new administrative office, task force creations, agency appointments with the new mayoral administration, and we will keep each committee apprised of personnel and structural changes in their relevant city agencies or topic areas. Second, to let you know that the official district needs statement and budget priority list that you all voted on a few months ago is now up on our website. It was made official by DCP. It did use a new software input, so the formatting is very wonky. That's on their end. I don't want anyone to think that we sent it through that way. Hopefully it'll get better next year. Once agency responses are received, we'll upload those on our website as well, and the board will respond to the mayor's preliminary budget based on those responses. And lastly, Councilmember Brewer mentioned Extell. We will be meeting with Extell reps next week to review the problematic construction at the Torch Building on 8th and 46th Street and the upcoming construction for the Wellington Hotel. While we don't know yet exactly what will be approved for that site, it will be something. And we want to get ahead of construction on that project so that neighbors are aware of what to expect. And there's an open line of communication. That is it for me, unless anyone has any questions.
Any questions? All right, thank you, Marisa. Okay, we will now move into the chair's report. So happy New Year, everyone. Hope you all had a restful holiday break and are feeling recharged as we head into the new year of work together. As we begin this year, we're looking forward to working with all of our new representatives, including our new mayor and his administration's newly consolidated Office of Mass Engagement. We're hoping this new structure will provide a clearer coordination and stronger lines of communication between the city and community boards, and we look forward to engaging constructively as that office gets up and running. I also want to highlight a new way that we're getting the word out about our work, which is community meetings will now be advertised on Link NYC kiosks throughout the district. This should help increase visibility and public participation, and I'm excited for more of our our fellow New Yorkers to see and engage with the work we do at the committee level. And also shout out to Josh for the graphic design for those advertisements. This is also a last call for all members who are interested in serving on the Park Use Task Force that I emailed you all about late last year regarding commercial use and activations. If you would like to participate and haven't already, let me know. Please do so after the meeting. I also want to briefly remind everyone of the new schedule, which we are currently in, that we adopted and discussed last month. Committee meetings will now generally take place the week immediately following the full board meeting. The goal is to give members more time to review resolutions, watch recordings, and ask questions in advance. So our full board meetings, we can focus on discussion and deliberation. Relatedly, I also want to take a moment to clarify our attendance policy, as I know it can be a little confusing. So members may attend meetings virtually up to 5 times across committee meetings and full board meetings. Virtual attendance up to 5 times counts as attending, but it generally does not count towards quorum. And after that 5th virtual meeting, attending virtually will be considered an absence. For in-person attendance, members may be absent up to 5 times per year. While we always appreciate advance notice if you're unable to attend, our policies don't distinguish between excused and unexcused absences. They're designed to allow for flexibility for unexpected or unavoidable conflicts while still ensuring we consistently meet quorum and can do the board's work effectively. Finally, I want to thank Alan Yu, who has resigned from the board after 4.5 years of service. We're grateful for his time, energy, and care that he dedicated to CB5, so please join me in thanking him for his service. So that concludes the chair's report, and now we will move into committee reports, starting with land use, housing, and zoning. So you are up, Nancy.
It's a bit of an obstacle for us.
I believe in you.
Good evening, I'm Nancy Gosho. I'm Chair of Land Use, Housing and Zoning for Manhattan Community Board 5. We have only one resolution tonight, and it is for a hotel special permit for 509 Madison Avenue. It's on pages 3 and 4 of your resolution packet. Would like it deemed read.
So deemed.
Okay, so I'm going to go very briefly. All of the details are already in the resolution, so I'd ask you to look there before you ask questions. So the committee unanimously approved this application by 509 Madison Avenue LLC for a special permit pursuant to ZR 74-152. You can Google that and find out all about hotel special permits to allow use group 5 hotel use at 509 Madison Avenue. The proposal for this hotel that is appropriate and compatible with East Midtown context. That's one of the findings that we have to opine on. The application met the required findings, including appropriate site planning, avoidance of undue pedestrian and vehicular congestion, and compatibility with the future use and development of the surrounding area. The applicant is commended for its commitments to public realm improvements, transit entrance upgrades, retention of bicycle infrastructure, and use of union labor. And this application is fully supported by the Hotel Trades Council.
Great. And then,
Oh, unanimous, I said.
oh, got it. Thank you. All right, any conflicts? Any questions? Any comments? All right, great. Thank you, Nancy. Okay, we will now move on to city services and quality of life. Welcome, Melissa.
Melissa Stewart, Vice Chair of City Services and Quality of Life. I have one slide which I will try to go through quickly. I will do my best to channel David Zugman in explaining this. So may I have this resolution deemed read?
So deep.
Wanted to start with some context on the resolution and then just walk through what the 3 priorities we were being asked for are. So this resolution was a request from the Bellevue CAB seeking a letter to elected officials supporting state and city financial support for the New York City health and hospital system, which includes Bellevue. Some context on this, around 60% of Bellevue patients are on Medicaid. Some context on that and reference, most and like average hospitals see around 10 to 20% Medicaid patients. So very high proportion Medicaid patients. Medicaid reimburses only about 70% of the actual cost of care. So that image there, just to show that the actual cost of care, what is the cost to provide that service for the hospital? Medicaid is reimbursing only around 70% of that cost to provide that service. And then a couple other just notes more broadly, what is the kind of general environment policy-wise at the federal level? So around $1 trillion of federal funding cuts are anticipated for healthcare, majority coming from Medicaid. And then these funding shortfalls for New York City safety net hospitals, of which the New York City health and hospital system is part of, are primarily covered by federal and state supplemental Medicaid payments in the city. So moving to the letter that we're being asked to write in support of this state and city financial support, there are 3 primary priorities that were outlined for us by Bellevue. These are 1, making permanent the fee-for-service upper payment limit. So what is this? This is an existing law that is currently set to expire at the end of March. Upper payment limit payments are state-provided annual supplemental payments that bring that Medicaid fee-for-service reimbursement rate closer to the actual cost of care. So what you're seeing here is it basically helps cover that gap between that 70% of where Medicaid is being reimbursed and bringing that closer to the actual cost of care. So it's reimbursed at the Medicare rate, which is again close to the actual cost of care. So that's in existence and set to expire at the end of March. And then the second major ask is making permanent the telehealth parity law. This is pretty straightforward. This is a payment parity law. This is also currently in place, set to expire at the end of March. This is a law just requiring telehealth services to be reimbursed at the same rate as in person for equivalent services. And this is just critical for increased access to care, particularly for behavioral health, mental health needs, as that makes up the majority of or a significant portion of telehealth services. And then the last ask and priority area is just around the support and increase in Medicaid reimbursement rates for safety net providers. So again, New York City Health Hospitals, defined as a safety net provider, provide services to patients regardless of their ability to pay. This is increasing that kind of base of the Medicaid rate for safety net providers specifically. And this resolution passed in committee 11-000.
Great, thank you. Any conflicts? Any questions? Any comments? All right, great. Thank you, Melissa. Good job. Okay, next we will move to transportation. David, you're up.
Hi, I'm David Sigmund. I'm the chair of the Transportation Committee. We have two resolutions on the agenda tonight that could be deemed read.
So deemed.
So the first is a letter regarding crosstown bike lanes. This was done in cooperation with community boards 4 and 6, since these bike lanes go east to west all the way across the island. It's part of a program that we have cooperating with our fellow community boards in areas of common interest. This was drafted originally by Community Board 4, reviewed in committee, where a number of changes were made, and then it's going back to Community Boards 4 and 6 to act on again, which I keep saying is how a bill becomes law. The vote on this in committee was 10-1-0-0. And thanks to Joel Maxman for writing the resolution, even though he voted against it. All right. So the second one was written.
Sorry, let's do.
Oh, do one at a time? Okay.
Yeah. Any conflicts? Any questions? Kevin. We have a microphone for Kevin. 1 second, it's coming. Thank you, Marisa.
Thank you. David, I wonder if you could please explain on line 227-228. There's a clause that says install treatments and improvements along the protected bike corridors to enhance pedestrian safety. And then on the following page, 235 through 237 lines, talks again about enforcement of traffic and safety laws and regulations. They seem very vague to me, so I wonder if you could just embellish on what these mean.
I mean, they're meant to be general comments, as is most of this. I mean, we're not recommending a specific design. The idea is that we would be working with DOT during the design phase to, figure out what the appropriate treatments were on each of these. So the idea was to raise key issues that we want to address when we get into the design phase.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Comments? Kevin.
Okay, I live on 55th Street, which is one of the thoroughfares for cyclists. It's to say that it is, a little dangerous is putting it mildly. Cyclists do not obey traffic laws. They don't stop at stop signs. They don't stop at intersections with lights. We are completely overrun by DoorDash and every other service provider that puts people on bikes to deliver food to people. So I asked that question, David, because I strongly am against any sort of enhancements or expansion of cycle lanes if we're not going to be committed to traffic enforcement and pedestrian safety. I think that is, I think I speak for all my neighbors. I know I do, because we talk about it constantly. I'm on the side of the street where you actually have, when you get to the curb lane, you are actually walking into the bike lane. So it's a real problem. And to mention the words pedestrian twice in this resolution means it's not really important. So I will be voting against this, and I ask other people to really seriously consider if this is the right sort of thing to do. I'm not against cycling at all. I am a cyclist myself. I strongly believe we need to have, I'm all for getting rid of cars and, letting more of the lanes go for cycling. But the way we're configured right now, it's not working.
Thank you, Kevin. Zool.
Thank you, Kevin. I just want to echo the sentiment, and I want to just draw everybody's attention to the last segment here, so 235 through 237. Implement and increase enforcement of traffic and safety laws and regulations, and implement post-installation monitoring of traffic flow, curb uses and safety outcomes, engaging all three community boards in regular data sharing and follow-up adjustments. None of this is happening. None of this has happened for years. There is no enforcement. It's a disaster.
Thank you, Zool. Ankur.
Sorry, there's only one mic going on the rail, so.
Get your steps in, Marisa. So, I appreciate some of the comments and concerns, but I just want to say if it's helpful for anyone as they're making their decision about how to vote tonight, at our committee, we too talked about exactly these issues. We had an extensive discussion about pedestrian safety, and we also had concerns about enforcement that we normally do when anytime we talk about bike lanes. I think while the resolved clauses may not highlight pedestrian safety in great detail, that's partially because, as David noted, we were trying to match a resolution that was passed by community boards 4 and 6. So we wanted to adhere closely to their language. But in fact, there was a detailed discussion about making some changes to that language to address the pedestrian safety issue, because we think that is very important. So we tried to incorporate some of those concerns here. We share them. But the reason that the language looks the way it is we were trying also to be consistent with what our neighboring community boards had passed, because we find that our message is more effective when we work with them. Thank you, Ankur. Any other comments? Andrea.
Thank you. Hi, just a comment related to this, but this is something maybe we can consider for future recommendation. I live across the street from Kevin, where I just say my experience a lot of issues with bikers not being reinforced, especially when I cross the street, when I go across the street, there will be bike lane right next to a long line of car parks next to the bike lane, which make it really difficult to see when a bike is coming. When you cross the street, maybe this is something we can consider if the opportunity come up in the future.
Thank you, Andrew. Any other comments? Oh, go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, I'm just going to echo that pedestrian safety was definitely something we were talking about a lot in this committee meeting. And I just wanted to note that also, building protected bike lanes is actually one of the best ways to increase pedestrian safety. And this is what the data consistently shows. I'm going to quote a DOT press release from March of 2025, which has some numbers on this. Quote, protected bike lanes improve safety for everyone on the street. Protected bike lanes reduce total deaths and serious injuries by 18.1%, and pedestrian deaths and serious injuries by 29.1%. The safety benefits for senior-aged pedestrians are even greater, with a reduction in senior pedestrian injuries and deaths by 39%. So, those are some of the benefits of building protected bike lanes, and I'm really excited that we're working together with 2 other community boards in our area to get this done.
Thank you. Todd. Here.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
I have to join my fellow community board members emphasizing the issue of traffic enforcement and the dangers and the growing frustration by many of our residents about the crosstown bike lanes. And certainly this resolution and joining it with our fellow community boards, I think that's well intended, and we should seek to do that wherever possible. But I must say that something we should begin to think about is tying the increase of the bike capacity to documented increases in the effectiveness of enforcement, education, and in particular, the use of these bike lanes by commercial delivery services. So everything in this resolution is certainly things that we can support. And in our district needs statement, I went out of my way to make sure that education about enforcement was put into the budget. But at some point, the city and we as a community board, even if the other community boards won't go along with us, we've got to think about urging our elected officials to put teeth into the growth of the bike program. If we're expanding it for commercial interests and we don't see documented improvement in the enforcement of laws, then ultimately there's going to be a backlash that's going to wreck this for everybody. So I will vote for this, but I think to the relevant committees and to all of us, we have to start thinking about that.
Thank you, Todd. Any other comments? All right, before I go back to Zool, any other comments? Okay, go ahead, Zool.
It's sad to say, there's really no way for us to do either education or enforcement without registering and licensing every driver of every motorized vehicle, no matter how many wheels it has.
Thank you, Zool. Okay, go on to the next one, David.
Okay. So the second resolution deals with an issue of clear path, sidewalk pedestrian space associated with a potential expansion of the outdoor dining program, the sidewalk cafe program. And thank you to Samir for doing the research and writing this one up. Just briefly, the history of the open restaurant program was that it was an emergency measure during the COVID pandemic, and it expanded in, I think, something like 13,000 locations around the city. After obtaining feedback from all sorts of community groups, the program was ultimately shrunk as a permanent program, it was also limited in seasonality to 9 months to allow plowing and street maintenance. So as part of the backlash to that, an intro 1444 was introduced in the council last year in 2025 that would kind of effectuate an expansion of the sidewalk dining program by redefining what the minimum width of a sidewalk is. So as part of the original open restaurants program, DOT actually went around the city and classified sidewalks based on the amount of traffic that they have to accommodate. And no surprise, Community Board 5 has some of the densest, most heavily trafficked sidewalks in the city. And so this grading scale was essentially 8-foot minimum, 10-foot minimum, and 12-foot minimum. And 80% of our sidewalks fell into the 10 or 12-foot minimum. So we would be disproportionately negatively impacted by a change to this. And it's also sort of a backdoor way of changing a dining program by, changing how much sidewalk width we're going to allocate to pedestrians. So after Samir's presentation on this, we voted unanimously 11-0-0-0 to call for a no vote on 1444 and not changing the ways that sidewalks are classified for the program.
Great, thank you. Any conflicts? Any questions?
I have a question.
Mike,
Was it brought up during the meeting, which I was unable to watch, the possibilities that exist between a restaurant with an outdoor cafe and then that building that the restaurant is in, having scaffolding put up after permission is granted for the outdoor restaurant, thus inhibiting pedestrian traffic? Did that come up during the meeting?
No, not that specific case.
Is that something that might be incorporated or not?
Yeah, we could look at it. I don't know how the city treats the temporary sidewalk, interference in the program, but we can take a look at it.
Thank you.
So I'm sorry, can I add something to my,
Go ahead.
so the other piece of this, we kind of separated out, there are a few approaches being taken in the council about how to deal with the program. And there is another intro, 1421, which would address the seasonality question. So it would not touch the sidewalk width question, but it would address this question of going from 9 months back to 12 months. And essentially the committee said, well, we're not against that, but it's also not our area, and that properly belongs, with SLAP or with the Open Restaurants Task Force. So because they happened at the end of the last session, they would have to be reintroduced to be acted on in this session. We took the action based on the original introduction on the sidewalk width piece. And, it would be up to SLAP or the task force to address the other one, at the appropriate time.
thank you. Todd, your hand was up. Do you have a question?
I'm waiting for a comment.
Okay, Robert.
David, you touched on this, but I just was wondering, what's the status of 1444 now?
It's, like any piece of, any intro in the old council, it would have to be brought back in the new council, and we haven't gotten to that yet,
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, comments. Go ahead, Todd.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. As the chair of the Open Restaurants Task Force, I applaud the committee's unanimous vote on this. The idea that we should subscribe to a one-size-fits-all approach when our sidewalks are busy makes no sense, and our clear role as a community board is to give local feedback as strongly and energetically as possible to assert the interests of our community, right? So good job, guys, and congratulations, Samir, you served on that committee. And I think that we've learned our lessons about that, and this is consistent with what we recommended. The other thing I just want to add is, if you follow what's going on with the new with the Open Streets program, basically there's been disappointment, certainly by the restaurant and hospitality industry and those that benefit from the sidewalk cafes, that not nearly as many people, many establishments participate as might have been expected, certainly as compared to the pandemic. And the overwhelming majority of the ones that have are much larger establishments, and they're casting about, I would guess that DOT and the industry are casting about for ways to increase the use. So my answer to that is that we should certainly be open-minded about improvements to the Open Restaurants program, but not things that are going to, just in common sense terms, not work for our community or other communities. The other thing is, as this evolves, I hope that whatever changes they make will bring us in the direction of more equity for smaller establishments. Because one of the great things about the program in its initial phases and its emergency phases is that big establishments as well as small establishments shared equally in the benefits. And the small establishments, based on the pricing and the current rules in place, have really been frozen out, or their participation has been greatly diminished. So we'll see what happens. And I think that, again, I'm going to vote in favor of this, but we know we have these issues going forward, and we should be alert to use our influence to improve the program.
Thank you, Todd. You're on.
So I completely agree with what Todd just said, and I just want to quickly say, like, I also very much support outside dining. And I think the council should find all kinds of ways to incentivize it and make it year-round. I think the problem with 1444, as has been stated, like, as somebody personally who has to push a stroller through the crowded sidewalks of our district, it is nearly impossible as it is sometimes. And so, like, personally, I think 1444 is very misguided.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. All right. Oh, David. Oh, yes, you have a report.
Yeah, just two quick status updates, and just on this issue of coordination with CB4 and 6, just to give people a sense of what other issues we're talking about with them. We are doing work on micro hubs, on local delivery hubs, and so we will be sharing that with CB4 and 6. We share, obviously, 8th Avenue and Lex, where these things will probably be located with those community boards. We issued, are about to issue, a letter of support for the 34th Street busway drafted by CB4, and it was a kind of a rehashing of things that we had already acted on as a board. And so that letter is going to be going out to the new administration. Charles is doing some work, we hope, on Waymo, the whole Waymo experiment that's going on. We've asked DOT to provide us with data on what's going on with that, which we will share with the other community boards. CB4 has taken up an issue of a bus stop moratorium in the area of the Port Authority bus terminal because of all the construction that's going on there. And we, again, share 8th Avenue on that. So we'll take a look at what they produce there. And then this today, the open dining was one of those items as well. And the other thing I wanted to mention was just because we've been issuing some of these letters off prior board action, and I wanted the board to know that that was happening. We're preparing a letter that was written by Christopher Nazaro and Zool after a traffic death on West 53rd Street and Broadway at the end of the first week of December, which raised for us all of the issues of Broadway vision, pedestrian safety. And so we generated a letter that essentially reiterates the positions that we've taken on before about how to reduce these interferences between all types of vehicles and pedestrians, and the things that we've called on in the past, supporting Vision Zero, for instance, to be incorporated into the Broadway Vision program as that expands in the future. So that letter will be going out shortly. All right, thank you.
Okay, next up is landmarks. Kevin, you're up.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kevin Friz. I'm chair of the Landmarks Committee. We have one application this month. I'd like to have it deemed red.
So deemed?
This is on the ground floor of 245 Fifth Avenue on the corner of 28th Street. This is the Madison Square Landmark District, for those who weren't aware. There's a new restaurant going into the ground floor level called Pixito. It's being launched by the same group that launched the Avra restaurants in Midtown, if you're familiar with those. As part of the new restaurant, they're making modest renovations to the building exterior. The renovations included all glass and brushed metal doorfront, the new marquee above the doorfront, new signage, and new awnings over two of the main windows. This modernization includes a deep bronze color for the marquee and vestibule frames, and it is contrasted with brushed brass hardware. New this month in the resolution in your packet, there is a photo showing an image of the current location as it's currently rendered and the proposed renovations as they suggest. You can see that the renovations are relatively subtle. We were unable to get a quorum at committee, unfortunately, but it did pass executive committee 14-0-0.
Thank you. Any conflicts? Any questions? Any comments? Okay. That concludes our resolutions for tonight. So we will take 5 minutes for everyone to get their vote in. We'll reconvene at 7:45.
Okay, thank you. This will be a short one. Okay, starting from approval of the December 2025 minutes with 43 yes votes, that has been approved. Moving along, regarding 509 Madison, the hotel special permit application with 42 yes votes and 1 abstain, that has been approved. Next, we have the Bellevue Hospital Safety Support with 42 yes votes, 1 abstain, that's been approved. The Crosstown Protected Bike Lanes, the joint letter with CB4 and CB6 with 39 yes votes, 3 no votes, and 1 abstain, that has been approved. Next, outdoor dining, the City Council Intro 1444, the Sidewalk Cafe Clear Path, 41 yes votes, 1 no vote, and 1 abstain, that has been approved. And finally, 245 Fifth Avenue, the Marquee and Awning storefront changes, with 42 yes votes and 1 abstain, that has been approved. Thanks.
Thank you all. All right, now I will open the floor up for any new business. New business, Mike? Where did that microphone go?
Thank you. I have 2 things to mention, new business. Number 1, I took a walk through Bryant Park this week. I don't know if any of you have been there. It's amazing. It's like a new place. You don't recognize it when you walk through. I promise you, it's like being on another planet. They're currently dismantling all of those kiosks for all of those sales things. I don't know if that's keeping the people away or what, but the place is kind of empty. It's kind of desolate, except for the skating rink thing that's on the east-north corner. It totally looks different. Check it out. See what I mean if you want to see what the Bryant Park looks like empty. Number 1. Number 2, one more thing, if I may. I am doing my Garment District tour on the 21st of January. That's a free tour. You're all invited to join me. No charge. Did I mention it's free? Yeah. And on it, you would learn why the Garment District is in its current location, amongst other great and interesting facts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. New business, Catherine. No, wait for Mike, please.
I just wanted to remind people, a lot of people may know, but I wanted us to be able to spread the word about the homeless outreach population estimate. We know it as HOPE. This is when volunteers take an entire night to count homeless people in the city. And it's a way to remind yourself not to normalize seeing homeless people in the street, but it does an enormous work in helping us not only helping the city not only count homeless people, but to create budgetary and innovative ways to address homelessness in the city. If you're a board member and you've not had the experience, it's worthwhile, but it's also something worthwhile for anyone who works, lives, plays, goes to school in the district to be involved in. And it's one night. So tell a friend, tell family, and hopefully we can put it on our website to remind people to register.
Thank you, Catherine. Zool.
There will be information on how to sign up for the Hope Count in next week's newsletter.
And it's February 3rd.
It's February 3rd for those online. Thank you, Catherine. And Marisa.
Thank you. I've done the Hope Count for many years, and if none of you have done it, please do. It's really quite helpful. On behalf of the Rising Together Theater Company, I'd like to invite all of you to one of our upcoming talkback shows. Reap what you sow, don't lose heart. There are some flyers on the district manager's desk. We have a number of shows coming back. risingtogether.theater is the website. risingtogether.theater, and we're a unique type of talkback theater company. We produce original short plays as prompts for civil discourse and civic engagement, rather like what we do here and in committee. But it's a lot of fun because it's a play too. So thank you very much. Rising Together Theater.
Thank you, Zool. Any other new business, either in person or online? Okay, seeing none. So next we have the public session. Are there any speakers either in the room or online who would like to speak? As a reminder, at this time, any comment should be about a topic that was not covered during the meeting and that they did not speak to the board about during the public hearing. If you would like to speak, please raise your hand to be recognized, either in person or virtually.